Hi, I'm Anna. Thanks for joining me on this necklace project. For a list of all the products that we'll use and links to where you can find them, check out the description below. So our first step is going to be to take the beads that we're going to use and line them up in the order that we want to use them. So what I've done is I've started with my bead that's in the center or the top of my loop, and then I've from there, so I've started with that one, and then from there I've just lined them up in the order that I'm going to use them, in the order that I'm going to pick them up. And I've put the heavier beads or bigger beads at the center of the loop, so that will give it some gravity and weight and pull those loops down. And also just will look better visually. So I have my thread here with a stop bead at the end, and I'm just going to have enough thread at the end that I can then add a needle to it later and tuck it in. So we don't need very much there. A few inches will be fine. I'm going to start by picking up some seed beads. And for this necklace, I'm going to have 6 seed beads in between each of the loops that I make. So I'm going to start off by picking up 6 seed beads. Now to start the loop, I'm going to pick up the first bead here. That's going to be the top of my loop. And every bead that I pick up that's part of my loop, I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads in between. So I start with my first bead, I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads, go to the next bead, 2 seed beads, until I get all the way at the end of all the beads that I'm including on the loop. And I'm ending with 2 seed beads. So you should have the beads that we picked up at the beginning, which for me it's going to be 6 seed beads, and then all the beads for your loop with 2 seed beads at the end. Take your needle and thread and pass through that first bead that we picked up. That's going to be the top of the loop, and just pull everything tight so you don't have any excess thread. And there you go. There you go. There is your first loop. We're going to go ahead and pick up another 6 seed beads and do the second loop. So I've added my 6 seed beads on, and then I'm going to continue as I did to create this loop, and I'm just going to continue until I get the length that I would like for the loop portion of my necklace. Once you're done with the loop portion of the necklace, we're going to add to the ends so that we can make it the total length that we need for our finished necklace. The loop portion that I did here is about 12 inches. So if I want an 18-inch necklace, that's another 6 inches that I need to add. So since I'm adding it to both sides, I'll divide that in half, and that'll give me 3 inches that I'm adding to each side. So to add those 3 inches, what I'm going to do is start at one end here, and I'm starting with the end here that I have my stop bead on. And I'm going to just go back, I'm going to backtrack in the project just a little bit to add my new piece of thread. I'm going to use one of the beads that's in the project and just loop around there and just create a stop bead out of that bead. So one of my 11-ohs here, just anywhere in the project, I'm going to go back about an inch or so just to give myself a little room there so I don't have my thread, my tail thread right at the end there where I'm working. And once I've added my thread around that bead to create that stop bead, I'm going to go through the project just to get to the very end. And I'm going to go through all my beads here, and I can ignore that last bead, which is the first stop bead that I added at the very beginning of the project. I'm going to give this a little pull here because I want my tail to be long enough that I can then add a needle and tie it off later. It wasn't quite long enough, so I just made that a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do is just add 3 inches of beads so that I can create just a simple little pattern of beads here in 3 inches, and that'll get me, once I do that to both sides, That'll get me the full length that I need for my necklace, that 18 inches that I'm going for. So for my pattern, I'm going to use these little bicone beads, and I'm just going to pick up a bicone and a couple of seed beads, another bicone, and I think this will be a nice pattern. So I'm just alternating, just keeping it very simple, and just alternating between some seed beads and a crystal. So I'm going to go ahead with this pattern and do that for another 3 inches until I get to the end there, and then I'm going to add a clasp on this side. Once you've finished adding the additional length that you need on your necklace, we're going to add the clasp. So for this necklace, I'm going to add a lobster clasp. On the one end here, I'm just going to simply add that lobster clasp by picking up a couple of seed beads, passing through my lobster clasp, and picking up a couple more seed beads, and then passing through the beads that I added to the end of my project. So I'm going to not pass through any of the seed beads that I just picked up to add the clasp. I'm just going to pass through all the seed beads that I picked up, seed beads and crystals that I picked up to form that extra length on my necklace. And I'm going to go pass through here, go through some of these beads, and then I can easily just tie this off. And all I'm going to do is just create a little overhand knot and go through more of my beads, pass down through my project, and then I'll be able to cut that off, all this extra off. On the other side of my necklace here, I'm going to add the loop for my lobster clasp. So I'm going to pick up 9 seed beads, and that's about this right number of beads for this size lobster clasp, which is about 12 millimeters. And so you're just going to pick up those seed beads, pass through one of the crystals, the crystal there on the end, give that a nice tight pull so you don't have any slack, and then before you tie it off, make sure that you test the lobster and just make sure that you can attach it to your loop. And as long as you're good there, you can go ahead and take the rest of your thread down through your project, and we're going to tie that off. So once you have that all tied off, you'll have your complete finished necklace. Share your finished necklace with us on Facebook. Also remember to check out the description below. There's links there to all of the products that you'll use in this necklace design. Also remember that if you like this video, just keep watching and you'll get some more inspiration with some more of the amazing videos that we have here on our YouTube channel.